Hello and welcome to the Vanarama National League highlight show on BT Sport. Over the next half an hour, we'll bring you the best of this weekend's action as we enter the business end of the season. There were extraordinary scenes ahead of kick-off at the Cufflink Stadium, with Ebbsfleet players refusing to warm up, citing an ongoing row with owner Dr. Abdullah Al-Hamadi, which had reportedly seen them go unpaid in March. It was later confirmed by the club that the situation had been resolved ahead of their game with Wrexham. It's a distraction they don't need as they battle for a top 7 finish again. Concentration was key against the Welsh Dragons, who were also hoping to secure a playoff spot for the first time since 2013. The visitors gifted their rivals the opening goal, Captain Sean Pearson turning Miles Weston's cross into his own net. Gary Hill's side, who were unbeaten in 4, doubled the lead before half-time. Michael Cheek heading in the corner to register his 14th goal of the season. And he added another to his tally 4 minutes later. Cheek starting the counter-attack before getting on the end of Gozi Ugwu's cross. 3-0 to the Fleet. Wrexham had their backs against the wall, but they came back into the game shortly after the restart. Stuart Bevan sweeping the ball past Nathan Ashmore amidst appeals for a penalty. The deficit was further reduced when a goal-mouth scramble ended with Pearson scoring in the right net this time. It was game on with 8 minutes to play, but a 4th goal for the hosts made the point safe. Andy Drury finding Ugwu for the finish. Manager Gary Hill wouldn't be drawn on the off-field issues, but was keen to sing the praises of his players.
First of all, very big 3 points. We knew that where we're sitting in the league, to have any hopes or ambitions of getting in the playoff top 7, we had to win today. And felt the first half was a showing which we haven't seen down here collectively from a team since I've been here, and we have had some good home performances.
Unless you wanted to say anything about what was going on.
No, don't do that, mate. Not my style. Been around the game a long time, you know that.
On Tuesday evening, Leyton Orient extended their lead at the top of the National League to 2 points, even though they have 2 games in hand on title rivals Solihull Salford and Wrexham. Goals from Marvin Ekpetita and Macaulay Bonne, a penalty for Justin Edinburgh's men, saw off Fyle 2-0. This weekend, the O's made the short trip to North London to take on Barnet. Darren Curry's men were unbeaten in 5, the club's best run in 6 months. The Bees started well in the capital's sunshine. A set-piece routine from practice almost resulted in Dave Tarpey opening the scoring. An even better opportunity followed as Wes Fonguk beat the Orient offside trap, unable, however, to beat the intelligent Dean Brill. Up at the other end, in front of almost 4,000, the visitors had a chance of their own from a corner, but Josh Coulson was denied on the line by Mason Ephron Clark. Still before half-time, Barnet continued to attack a side they've played frequently in recent times in the EFL, Tarpey, though, blazing well over. Finally, in second half added time, the O's thought they'd won it after Coulson found the net. But agonisingly for him and the league leaders, it was ruled out for offside, so 2 points dropped for Orient, 1 gained encouragingly for Barnet.
We've got to keep collecting points and chipping away at the games. We're away from home. You know, we've got no divine right to go and win any football match. We have to earn it, and I thought, you know, if we leave here with a point, it's 1 more on the board, and it takes us a little step closer. We fully appreciate it. There's a lot of good teams breathing down our necks at present, but, you know, it's in our own hands, and that's the way we want to try and keep it.
Second place Solihull could only manage a draw at lowly Boreham Wood in midweek. Nathan Blissett had given the Moors an early lead before Ralston Gabriel equalised for Luke Garrard's men. The visitors thought they'd won it when Adi Youssef tapped in his 20th of the season, but it wasn't to be as Idris Kanu salvaged a late point for the hosts with 2 minutes remaining. It puts in Flowers' side 2 points behind leaders Leyton Orient as they welcomed Dover to the Midlands, the Whites doing a good job at distancing themselves from the bottom of the table. There were just 4 minutes on the clock when the visitors struck the first blow. Ryan Boots spilling Bobby Joe Taylor's cross into the path of Alfie Pavey, who tapped in his third goal in 3 games. The hosts found the equaliser just under half an hour later. Lee Worgan saving the first attempt from Jamie Osborne, but was beaten by Danny Wright from close range, the striker with his first since January. Dover, who had won back-to-back games, took the lead again before the break. Taylor's free kick was saved this time, but Boot couldn't stop Scott Doe's volley. The pressure increased on Solihull when 2 bookings in 4 minutes for Liam Daly saw them reduced to 10 men. And maybe the nerves were starting to show, as Boot almost miscontrolled the ball into his own net. And he was under pressure again when Dover had the chance to make it 3-1. Anthony Jeffrey with the cross, but Ricky Modeste making a mess of the header. The Moors managed to rescue an unlikely point in stoppage time. Defender Tyrone Williams hooking the ball over the line to score his first in almost a year. The draw means Solihull are now without a win in 3, their joint worst run of the season.
The BT Sport cameras were in Yorkshire on Wednesday for a hotly anticipated clash between 2 promotion-chasing sides, Harrogate Town and Salford City. And at the end of a fiercely competitive encounter, it was the visitors who secured all 3 points after Emmanuel Dissarouve was brought down in the area. Devonte Redmond stepped up to make the decisive contribution. The victory pushed Graham Alexander's men up to 3rd position. Back across the Pennines at Moor Lane, the Ammies sought to make it 7 games undefeated, taking on bottom-half side Bromley. The closest either side came to scoring in the first period in the northwest was from Ibu Toure, his free kick rattling the crossbar for the hosts. Then the clash exploded into life 5 minutes from time. Lois Maynard was ruled to have brought down sub Omar Bagil. Penalty to Bromley. JJ Hooper converted from 12 yards. He's now on 4 in his last 3. But 3 minutes later, Maynard was to make up for his error in his own box. A towering header from a Scott Wiseman cross, making it level 1-1 and moments to go. Time was almost up. It was the 4th minute of added time. In spite of going a goal down at home, Salford were to take all 3 points as Nathan Pond headed home. An incredibly valuable win for the Ammies, who are up to 2nd, a point behind the leaders, Orient.
We put ourselves under enormous pressure by the run we'd been on, but you know, the players have constantly shown this season that they can come back from bad positions and turn form around, and we've done it again. But you know, to do it in such a 5-minute period, basically, you know, it was sort of an image of the whole season.
It was the league's leading scorers against a team fighting for survival at Wetherby Road. One thing both Harrogate and Maidstone had in common was that they were both without a win in 3 games ahead of their latest meeting. Town's 72nd goal of the season was scored 21 minutes in. Joe Leasley first with the cross, which Callum Howe headed back across the face of goal for Mark Beck to pounce on the end of. Maidstone responded before the break with a stunning strike from Justin Amalazor. The forward shooting the ball into the top corner to open his account for the Stones after joining the club in February. 7 minutes into the second half, Amalazor was back on the score sheet, beating James Belshaw from a tight angle to give Maidstone the lead for the first time in the game. But it was one they couldn't hold on to. Simon Walton bringing down Jack Muldoon to concede a penalty 10 minutes later. Muldoon picked himself up and sent Chris Lewington the wrong way. Harrogate were going for the win with minutes left on the clock. Leasley with an ambitious shot from 30 yards, only to be denied by the crossbar. The draw sees Maidstone drop to the foot of the table.
They scored a wonder goal at the right time just before half time, and then we said, look, we're looking for a reaction now, and the reaction was nervy again, back to that first 10-minute scenario. When you're looking for winners to stand up. Unfortunately, we didn't do enough today. It's a real shame, we missed opportunity.
Occupying the final playoff position, Eastleigh hosted Hartlepool United, who were without a victory in 4 away from the North East. The match at the Silver Lake Stadium was only 2 minutes old when a well-worked corner routine led to the hosts taking the lead. It's the second time this season Ben Williamson has scored within the opening 2 minutes. Mark Kitching only started for Pools because of an injury in the warm-up sustained by Fraser Kerr. Only 4 minutes after going behind, Kitching slotted by Luke Southwood to level the clash 1-1. There was still more drama to come inside a fabulous opening quarter of an hour. Mark Yates and Joey Jones combined to allow for an Alex Winter tap-in. The Spitfires were back in control in Hampshire. Moments after the restart, a Premier League loanee was involved in the game's 4th goal. Again, it came as a result of a set-piece straight off the training ground and once more involved the canny Yates. Finishing the move off, Bournemouth's Sean Dobson made it 3-1 to Eastleigh. Into the remaining 20 minutes, there was slim hope of a Hartlepool comeback when Nicky Kabamba headed in to make it 3-2. That's how it was, though, at full-time. Eastleigh remain in the playoffs, 2 points in front of chasing Ebbsfleet United.
Ahead of our live coverage of Aldershot and Fylde this week, we went to see the Coasters' star man Denny Rowe as the league's top marksman looks to lead his side to another promotion.
He's very unassuming, he's very quiet, he's very laid back. A lot of people looking at football, especially at this level, will look at what they can't do. I think what you've got to do is embrace what he can do.
It was a long road, really. I was at United as a young kid and I support Man United, so it was a great thing for me. So I was released at 16 and didn't do good for my confidence and stuff, so at that point I kind of fell out the game. I weren't actually playing for about a year, and then different people had asked me to play locally for one of the teams. I started doing that and started to enjoy playing again, and from there I kind of started to go up and up, end up at Fleetwood Town. I was released from Fleetwood when I was 22, I think I was. Ended up at Lincoln for a season and then came to Fylde.
In the four years or so we've had him here, he's scored over 40 goals a season, which is phenomenal. He rarely celebrates his goals. He sees it as his responsibility, his job within the team.
I think I'm playing quite well. Scored quite a few throughout the season, so people would think it's kind of pressure, to be honest. But I go into games myself confident that I'm going to score. If we come away and we haven't won, obviously I'm disappointed. If I haven't scored, I'm disappointed.
Sometimes he'll be a passenger in games. There'll be nothing to show from him, and then he'll score. His body language sometimes will say that he's not overly fussed. He doesn't look like he works hard enough. There's lots of it, but that's also his strength in the fact that when he gets on a goal, he's so composed. We definitely wouldn't change him. Hopefully he can continue to keep scoring the goals as he has done over the past 4 or 5 years.
It'd be the biggest achievement in my career to win promotion from this league. I've won promotion before when I was at Fleetwood. You see the celebrations that they had, and obviously you kind of look at that and think you'd want it again. I've done well here, the club have been good with me and stuff, but I believe I need to play in the Football League, and that's what I kind of want to do.
Rowe and Fylde travelled to Aldershot on Saturday as they continued their push for a playoff place for the second year running. Your commentators for this one were Adam Virgo and first Dan Mason.
Rowe. Decision for the goalkeeper to make there. He thought about coming and then quickly reversed. Horton. And what a save in the end by Will Mannion. Ended up being in the right place as James Hardy was in on goal. Horton, he's done well. Still Nick Horton, Rowe with the lay-off. Croasdale saved by Mannion. Nice move from Fylde, but the goal just won't come at the moment. Here's Horton, shooting chance, and tipped away by Will Mannion, who continues to earn his corn in the Aldershot goal.
Well, they just seem a different side. Aldershot can't get near them. That's a good reaction save there.
Here's Hardy. Good run from James Hardy. Change is flying in, but Hardy still has it. And here is Rowe, and another good save by Mannion. somehow Aldershot are hanging on to the clean sheet.
Great little turn inside, taking 2 players out and selfishly plays it to Danny Rowe. Credit to the goalie again. After a nervy start to the game, he's made some excellent saves.
Here's Rindell. Big chance for Aldershot. And a brilliant save by Jay Lynch. He did just enough, the goalkeeper.
It's a great save from Jay Lynch. I just got that feeling when Aldershot were in that position that they weren't going to score. They just don't seem confident.
Against a very good side today, we've picked up a clean sheet and a point. First half, they dominated it, in fairness. We had to tweak it at half-time, and you could argue we had the best chance of the game.
I'm disappointed now, and they know that, because they've done or got ever so close. But it is a case of almost forgetting about it and moving on.
It's roles reversed for Barrow and Boreham Wood from last season. The hosts in the top half, Wood before kick-off, were only 6 points clear of 4th bottom. Less than 20 minutes in, Kieran Murtagh made the most of a set-piece opportunity, with it equalling his best return for a campaign set with Woking 8 years ago. Murtagh, on his 5 goals this season, trails Boreham Wood's top scorer Justin Shebu. Soon after the opener, the Brentford loanee was brought down in the area. Penalty to the visitors, a chance for the lead to be doubled. That chance was taken by Shebu, who's now on to 8 goals for Luke Garrard's side, 2-0. It has been a solid campaign for the hosts, who finished last season a point clear of the drop zone. Before the interval at Holker Street, the arrears were reduced by Jack Hindle sliding past George Legg in the away goal. On the other side of the break, Legg ended up playing a crucial part for Wood. There was a spectacular double save to deny John Rooney and Rhys Norrington-Davey a rare Boreham Wood victory.
Gateshead's off-field problems were made worse this week when they were evicted from their ground because of money owed to the local council. The club will be able to play their remaining home games at the Gateshead International Stadium, but they've been refused permission to train there and have been forced to vacate their offices. There is some light at the end of the tunnel though, as the club has agreed in principle to a takeover by former Rochdale chairman Chris Dunphy. They travelled to Cressing Road, where Braintree was staring at relegation. Just 7 wins in 40 games had seen them rooted to the bottom of the table since November. They'd also failed to beat the Heat on the previous 5 attempts, but was their luck about to change? They came close to breaking the deadlock when Mo Sagaf's strike was tipped over by Ainsley Pearce. But they were handed a lifeline when Dan Matsuzaka was fouled in the area by Robbie Tinkler. The penalty awarded to Braintree, which Corey Henry converted to give the host the lead just before the break. Into the second half, and Sagaf was testing Pearce again, this time with a free kick, the keeper helped by the woodwork for the save. The final 10 minutes saw the introduction of 18-year-old Alfie Carulli, who made an immediate impact, the teenager finding space to turn and scored just 8 minutes into his debut. The visitors had one final attempt at a consolation. Stephen Riggs' shot cannoned off the crossbar before Lewis McGock's overhead bicycle kick was saved by Ben Killip. It's a win for Braintree, but it comes too late, as other results mean their second relegation in 3 years is confirmed.
Today was a good reaction, and the boys showed character, they showed desire, and more importantly, the decision making was better today. We retained the ball better than we did last week.
Sutton United had won just 1 of their previous 9 and faced one of their caretaker boss Ian Baird's old teams, Haventon Waterlooville. They had won only 1 of their previous 10. Only 5 minutes after kick-off in the capital, the hosts Brett Williams was fouled in the danger area by Tyler Cordner. Penalty given. Jamie Collins dispatched to give Sutton an early lead. 5 of his 6 goals this season have been spot kicks. Then, with a few minutes to go until the break, Cordner was to make amends for conceding the penalty, heading past Jamie Butler to level the clash 1-1. Into the second period, Havant sought a second to take the lead themselves, but after a delivery aimed at Wes Fogden, Jonathan Barden put his body on the line, working with Butler to prevent the goal. It's not really looking good for Havant, who are in the relegation zone after coming up a year ago from the 6th tier. The handball in a dangerous position, Sutton's Aswad Thomas was then shown a yellow card. The resulting free kick was taken and scored by centre-back Cordner, putting the visitors in front. During Ian Baird's time with the Hawks, they played a Football League club for the first time in a competitive fixture, Millwall, in the FA Cup. Now against them, Baird's current team were able to force a scrambled leveller of their own through Dean Beckwith, 2-2. And deep into added time, the U's went down to 9 men after a shoulder injury for Collins. Aswad Thomas was sent off for a second bookable offence. Sutton are 6 points off the playoffs as Havant are 8 from safety, with only 5 games to go.
Next to the Proact Stadium, where Chesterfield's game with Dagenham kicked off after a minute's applause to former player and manager Kevin Randall. The club legend died on Thursday at the age of 73. A first 45 to forget, but Chesterfield brought the game to life shortly after the restart. Jonathan Smith breaking the deadlock with a low strike into the bottom corner from 25 yards to put his name on the score sheet for the second time in 2 games. Just like buses, 2 came along at once. A Route 1 goal for John Sheridan's team. Joe Rowley with the assist to Scott Bowden, who beat Elliot Justin to net his 8th goal and become Chesterfield's top scorer in just 2 months. 2 goals in 3 minutes, and it's a 3rd straight win for Chesterfield.
Midweek FC Halifax made it 7 clean sheets at home in succession, equalling the club's record. Early on against Maidenhead United, Matty Coslow and Devante Rodney combined, unable to force the opener. A James Comley corner found its way to Remy Clerima, but the visitors' captain was kept out in style by Sam Johnson. The pressure very much still on for the Shea men. They ended up conceding a penalty with 20 minutes remaining. Ayo Obalay stepped up, scoring for the first time since August. Alan Devonshire's men went close again before full-time as Kelly raced into the box and hit the post. Victory ensures in control Maidenhead move up a couple of places to 17th.
Leyton Orient remain top of the National League table, but their lead has been cut to just a point after they could only draw at Barnet. Moving into second is Salford, who secured their 6th win in 7 games at home to Bromley, and Solihull slipped to 3rd after their winless run stretched to 3 matches. The rest of the top 7 remains unchanged. At the bottom, Braintree are the first team to be relegated despite winning at home to Gateshead. Results for Boreham Wood and Dover confirmed the Irons' 2nd relegation from the 5th tier in 3 seasons. Maidstone are now bottom for the first time since promotion to the National League in 2016. And 17 points from safety, their fate looks all but confirmed. Over to Andy now for this week's game from the 6th tier.
In National League North, leaders Chorley went to Chester, who still have a slim chance of qualifying for the playoffs. The Magpies of the 6th tier were after a 5th clean sheet in 6, but were under pressure in the first half as danger was averted by Scott Leather. Next to have a go at goal for the hosts was the former Crewe midfielder and England youth international Gary Roberts. From outside of the area, he was denied by Matt Irwin as the first half ended goalless. There was more offered on the other side of the interval by Chorley. Marcus Carver was set free through the middle, but unable to find the target, least of all test Grant Shenton. The visitors did get closer, nearer to the end at the Diva Stadium, again via Carver, as the clash ended goalless.
Chorley stayed top of the National League North despite that draw, but Stockport are now only 2 points behind with a game in hand on their rivals after they won 2-0 at home to Darlington. Elsewhere, Bradford Park Avenue snatched a late draw at home to Alfreton, and Altrincham move up a place after beating Kidderminster 2-1. In the south, Torquay extended their lead at the Summit to 4 points thanks to a 3-2 win over Wealdstone. Second place Woking could only draw at Bath City. Billericay threw away a 2-goal lead in the last 10 minutes to draw 2-2 with Dulwich Hamlet. The Essex side remains 7th. Next Sunday, we're at Wembley for the FA Cup semi-final between Watford and Wolves. You can see the build-up for that one from 3:30. On Tuesday the 9th of April, Spurs host Manchester City on BT Sport 2 HD and 4K UHD. Over on BT Sport 3, you can see Liverpool take on Porto. The following evening, Manchester United face Barcelona at Old Trafford. That's live from 7. And on Saturday the 13th, we have more from the National League title run-in as Salford entertain Maidenhead. That's live from 12:15 on BT Sport 1 HD and 4K UHD. That's it for another week of Vanarama National League action, and as March comes to a close, we'll leave you with a selection of the month's best goals. See you next week.